Tuten XL 92.5 FM.
All right, welcome in. Today's new drug is we complete the tour around the AFC South. We'll talk a little NFL today throughout the course of the program. Hayes Carline on vacation. That's old Hacker Nation. He can have the sub day off because we got a bunch of guests coming in. We'll talk about those in just a bit. Frank Frangie, JJ LaSelva here with you. You were watching the Pirates game more than me today. We were losing, huh?
Yes, I loved it. Tuesday or Wednesday. Jeez. Wednesday, 2 o'clock.
Getaway day.
They had like a sold-out crowd because the pitching matchup was so good.
Yeah.
Two really young arms.
Yeah, 4-1 bad guys lead. So in a shocking story that the Pirates didn't score much in that game. So there is that. Hey, all kinds of things to get to today on the program. The NBA draft tonight. Will you watch it? Will you watch the draft? Are you a draft guy?
I'll be at work.
Okay.
But
ordinarily, would you watch it?
I'll pay attention to it via Twitter. Usually I will watch like the NFL draft first round more because I'm not a college basketball guy. I'm an NBA guy, but not a college basketball guy, so I don't really know these fellas.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I wonder, well, if you watch college basketball, you only know them for a year.
True.
You know, I mean, if you think of the guys.
And half the guys getting drafted are probably from overseas.
Certainly a number of them are, for sure, if not half, certainly a number of them. Yeah, it's only the NFL draft locks you in, doesn't it? I mean,
and only the first day, really.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know hockey because I don't pay attention to hockey. But now the NFL draft, I'll watch that all 3 days. I mean, I'll watch every minute of it.
Yeah.
I won't watch every minute of it, but I'll watch the NFL draft a good part of the time. Major League Draft has it on now. Nobody watches it because you don't know any of those guys. You know,
and then if they draft them, they might play college baseball.
Right. Well, they may not get there anyway, right? But you don't. But the shortstop out of Highlands, California, you probably never watched him play.
Yeah, Forest High School's starting pitcher.
Right. So you haven't seen that, but the NBA draft is an interesting one. Like I would watch it more if there were. I mean, I do watch college basketball, but most of the guys that get drafted you didn't see. See, in football, it's different. In college football, the draft picks, not all, but a high percentage of them are from schools you would normally watch play football, and therefore you watch them play. You with me? I mean, a high percentage of those guys are from Alabama and Ohio State and Georgia and LSU and Michigan and USC and Texas and schools you would watch play. So even if they're not from your school, they're from a school that you watch.
You have an opinion on these guys.
That's right. The basketball
Ace Bailey,
correct. The basketball guys went to Rutgers, and they might have gone to Illinois for a year. They might have gone to Seton Hall for a year. You never saw them because they weren't there long enough for you to see them. That's the other thing. So riddle me this, NBA guy. Why are the 19-year-olds so much more valuable to the NBA than the 21 and 22-year-olds? Now look. I understand why they'd be more valuable than a 26-year-old, but they're only 2 or 3 years younger. Is it because if you were any good for the NBA, you wouldn't make it to 21? Is that kind of the story?
I think if you were, a super senior, we've seen your ceiling. We know what you're going to be. And if you were going to be great, you would have been drafted a couple years ago.
Yeah.
But there is those teams that are trying to win now, and you do see more older guys go to teams like that. The Florida guard I could easily see going to the Heat, and the Heat are always trying to win now.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's more teams willing to take a chance on Ace Bailey, who's 6'9", who played for Rutgers, and his potential could be through the roof. But we only saw him in college for 1 year as opposed to a guy who we've seen in college for 4 years. We know what he is. He's a good player, and he's going to be good for you, but his ceiling isn't as high.
I'm looking at a mock draft. Okay, this is a mock, and by the way, the draft is tonight. Mock draft, just for people that don't follow it closely. Cooper Flagg's going first. You probably didn't have to follow it all that closely to know that.
Right.
He was a freshman in college, according to this mock draft.
And I think that he was how you can go to college a year. I think he's a young freshman.
I didn't even realize that, but he's a freshman. The number 2 pick, according to this, is Dylan Harper, one of the 2 Rutgers guys. He was a freshman last year in college. He's the 2nd pick. The number 3 pick, according to this, is VJ Edgecombe from Baylor. He was a freshman last year. The number 4 pick was Con Knipple from Duke. He was a freshman last year. The 5th pick, according to this, is Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma. He goes to the Jazz. He was a freshman last year. The 6th pick is Ace Bailey from Rutgers. We just talked about, goes to the Wizards. He was a freshman last year. The next pick, Maluk, the kid from Duke, the center. He was a freshman last year. I mean, the 8th pick, Trey Johnson from Texas. He was a freshman last year. You get the point. We finally have a foreign player. We get down to 9th. The next player, Carter Bryant from Arizona, was a freshman last year. Every player. The
first one is 12.
Yeah,
is a sophomore. Finally,
you got to, and that's Colin Murray Boyles. So I wasn't sure was all that good a player. I watched him a few times, but the bottom line is the first, according to this mock draft, of the first 11 picks, 1 through 11, one is a European player. The other 10 were freshmen. And again, I don't know. It boggles my mind that maybe not the Duke guys, but the freshmen from Rutgers and the freshmen from Baylor and the freshmen from here and there, were they really better than all those upperclassmen at Houston that almost won the national title? I guess they were, right? I mean,
listen, there's so many busts in the top 10 of the NBA, man. Like, I think it's probably even more than the NFL. Like, if you go, I heard Ryan Russillo go through since 2017 or 2018, like the top 10 picks in all these drafts. And honestly, from like 2017, 2018, like 7 or 8 out of these guys are either on different teams already or not even in the league. There was a few that like of each draft that are not even in the league anymore. So there is like huge bust potential when it comes to lottery picks in the NBA because, like you said, they're so young. They just don't know. And by the way, Cooper Flagg is super young. He doesn't turn 19 until December 21st.
Well, that's really young.
Yes.
That's really young. So there's not a junior, and according to this mock, there's not a junior that goes until 12, I think. Okay, that's not, I take it back.
No, further down than that till
16, is it?
Yeah, 16 with the Grizzlies. Cedric Coward played for Washington State and Duke.
And then Danny Wolf, the big guy from Michigan, is a junior. He goes to 18. But you get the point.
It's the one and done rule.
Yeah.
I mean, they should go back to what it used to be. It's silly to have these guys have to go to college for just a year. And I guarantee if it was just out of high school, most of these guys aren't being taken out of high school.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? And they're probably more likely to play college for a couple years.
It's just bizarre when you watch and you think there's really that many good college teams that don't have guys that are going to go high. It's just a different world, a totally different world than any of this. We'll watch it tonight, so it'll certainly be on tonight. I'll take a peek. Like I said, I won't really lock in. The question we all have is Walter Clayton Jr. You know, in this mock, JJ, the former Gator, the national champion Gator, the MVP of the NCAA tournament, goes 23rd to the Pelicans. That's the first time I'd seen that. Did you see that? I hadn't seen that before.
No, I've seen him. Well, now that the Magic aren't in it, I've seen him a few different places. But, yeah, the one I was looking at yesterday had him 20 to the Heat. And Hack was telling me that he was hearing rumors that, you know, after the Heat workout, I guess they kind of shut it down. Like, he really wants to go there. And maybe he's been told that we're going to take you at 20. So, we'll see. I would be surprised if he goes all the way to 26. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So or whatever, 24, whatever you said.
All right, so we got. I think this one had Clayton.
Yeah, 23.
Yeah, so we got a lot of things to talk about today on the program. Brett Hastings will join me in just a few minutes. Sports in Courts, a very interesting Sports in Courts coming up today on the program, and then we're going to tour around the AFC South. Taylor Zarzour, the brand new play-by-play voice of the Tennessee Titans. You know Taylor's name. He does golf on Sirius. He does his own golf show. So he's a very good golfer, but also does a great job of golf on the broadcast side. He also calls college football games for SEC Network. He is on often the early game, but he is part of the SEC Network broadcast crew. But right now, he's now an NFL guy. He is one of the 32 NFL play-by-play voices, and he will join us coming up in just a bit. So we're looking forward to talking a little NFL football coming up in a bit. You know, JJ, what I'm interested in is, and I asked Matt Taylor this, what the expectations are from these guys, all four of us, what the expectations are for the other teams in the division. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it.
Like what the expectations of the Jags are from their point of view.
Jags, Texans, and Titans if you're the Colts. Jags, Colts, Texans if you're the Titans. Because I think even the Titans, and I'll ask Taylor this, even the Titans, if you think about this, even though they're not expected to be very good, they had the first pick, they're playing a rookie quarterback, probably feel like it's a winnable division because there's not a great team in it. You see what I mean? I think that's the point. I think
that might be a stretch.
Yeah.
But
it's a stretch for me to think the Titans might win the division.
Yeah, I'm saying I don't know. I'd like to think the Tennessee Titans media is probably smarter than that. Yeah, but I get the other three though. To me, it's definitely it could be a toss-up division because I am not impressed by the Texans whatsoever.
And if the Texans are not the odds-on favorite, then there's not an odds-on favorite. Right? I mean, they're the closest thing to, no matter how much we all think of our teams, they're the closest thing to a favorite.
Oh, yeah, certainly.
Yeah,
they're the betting favorite for sure. I think that if you bet 100, you have to bet like 115 to win 100. If you bet the Jags, they're like over 3-1. So it's not a terrible bet to take the Jags to win the division. With $100 brings you like $325.
So we'll see what winds up happening. A lot of things we'll get to coming up later on. Talk a little baseball. Braves, Mets. Boy, the Braves. Boy, the Mets, right?
Yeah, it's not the Braves still dropped 2 or 3 to the Fish this weekend. They're still not good.
But the Mets.
They're terrible.
How did that happen?
It happened fast. They're 1-10 in their last 11 games.
1-10?
They've lost 5 straight to the Braves. They've only played them 5 times. And their starting rotation, though, I was skeptical about it before the season. And they started out crazy hot with some of these guys, and I was like, okay, maybe I was wrong about them. No, they're, what do you call it? The mean to the whatever. They're who we thought they were. All these guys, all these starting pitchers, regressing to the mean.
And look,
they have bats, but not too many, and they're starting pitchers. I just can't see them winning a series in the playoffs with them.
To show you how good they were to start the season, they're still 12 games over 500 after going 1-9 in the last 10.
No, 1-10 in the last 11, even worse.
Yeah, 1-10 in the last 11. And they're still 12 games over. Yeah, so it tells you how it's just a bizarre season. We'll certainly talk about that coming up. We got a lot of things to get to. But let's take a break. We're going to kick off the program. Glad you're with us on this Wednesdays. You know our Wednesdays are always brought to you by my friends at Coyle & Sons, the best fence company around. Boy, if you need a fence, they're the best. They've been doing it forever, since the 1920s, and they keep doing it the right way. You can trust them. It might be overhead doors, bathroom partitions. They do so much stuff. Residential and commercial fencing. Nobody does a better job at fencing. Nobody in town than my friends at Coyle & Sons Fence Company. We'll take a break. Sports and Courts will kick off the program. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
When you want breaking sports news, tune in to 1010XL.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Or any of our social channels at 1010XL.
Satisfied?
Just when you thought we couldn't bring you more, Keon Atlantic is here with a brand new store. We have the same great team to treat you well. With new savings during our grand opening sale. Keon Atlantic is here with the new store. Shop our best offers and largest selection yet. Save big during our grand opening sale. Is there something for everyone on our lot? You bet. If you're ready to experience something new, the all-new Keon Atlantic is ready for you. Your perfect ride is a visit away. Online at KeonAtlantic.com. Keon Atlantic, your coastal Kia connection.
Hi, it's Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass, there's one name I trust, and that's Lee & Case Glass. Mirrors, custom showers, tabletops, even foggy glass windows, they handle all that. And they've been doing it right since long before I ever picked up a mic. Local, family-owned, and part of this community, just like we are. They've taken great care of me, including our brand-new walk-off offices. Guys, they did a great job, and I promise they'll do the same for you. Lee & Case, it's the clear choice. Check them out at leeandcaseglass.com.
Meet John and Ben Lupo, first and second generation owners of Jacksonville's Beards Diamonds.
We can do things that these corporate stores cannot do. Make decisions on the spot. Our pricing is better than anybody else's. We do not do commissions.
We really try to keep it a family environment, relaxed. We're not trying to sell you what we want. We're trying to listen to what you want.
In fact, don't be surprised if you end up spending less at Beards than you had budgeted, because they're going to teach you how to buy a diamond like a dealer buys and show you how to buy smart.
If we can save the consumer money, we're all about that. If we can achieve the same look, the same quality, and for them to spend less, that's what Beards is built on.
Why pay more if you don't have to?
Dad always taught me from day one is you got to look at the diamond. You can't just buy off of paperwork. Rather than us just saying, hey, this one's $7,000, the other one's $10,000, we're going to tell the consumer why this one's $7,000 and why this is $3,000 less but almost looks identical.
Don't overpay at the Wall Street-owned corporate chain. Get the transparency and value you deserve at Beards at the St. John Town Center.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell, founder of Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is complicated, especially when your small business or professional practice is involved. At Cordell & Cordell, we understand that these assets raise unique valuation and allocation issues. For 35 years, we've helped doctors, lawyers, and small business owners navigate divorce with confidence. Call us at Cordell & Cordell. Let me tell you, I understand on a personal level, your business is much more than a job. It's your legacy.
Jacksonville, Florida. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
If life blindsided you tomorrow, was your family struggle? I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial, and I can help. One call could protect your family for life. 904-885-9566. Harborstone Financial.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we won it, we got to bring my thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hayes Blog on 1010XL.com.
Okay, here we go with our final lightning round on Potty Talk. Top 3 answers on the board. Ready? Okay. The best way to save money when your faucets or pipes are leaking.
Roland Reach Plumbing?
Something to help you avoid clogged sewers and drains.
Roland Reach Plumbing.
The technical term for that ba-whoosh sound when a toilet flushes correctly.
Roland Reach Plumbing.
Roland Reach Plumbing is always the right answer. Roland Reach Plumbing, 260-7059.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Ready to ride the waves? Best Bet St. Augustine is turning up the heat with our Summer Splash promotion. We're giving away over $40,000 in cash and prizes, including a brand new 2025 Yamaha Wave Runner. From now through August 8th, every hour you play poker or table games earns you an entry to win. It all leads up to the grand prize drawing on August 9th. The more you play, the more chances you have. Don't miss your shot to make a splash this summer. Visit bestbetjacks.com for all the details. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hacker here. Y'all know I needed to do something about my weight. When I saw Matt and Mike eating to lose weight, I figured that could probably work for me. And it did. Just look at me now. If you need a weight loss plan that works, visit awaken180weightloss.com.
Your shrimp Jumbo Shrimp Baseball is home at newly renovated five-star ballpark this week. Tomorrow, all military get free tickets courtesy of Ascension St. Vincent's, and it's Coors Light Thirsty Thursday. Then it's Red Shirt Friday with fireworks followed by more fireworks and a Wizard Club giveaway Saturday, all courtesy of Maxwell House. Meet Bluey on Baptist Health Sunday Family Fun Day. Baseball all week and weekend.
Ballou here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now time for Sports and Courts, legal issues in the sports world with Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. Hit back with Hastings.
Brett Hastings is here. Sports and Courts is up in just a second, but let's get to the most important stuff first. Where's Walter Clayton going? That's what I want to know. Heck with the Sports and Courts legal stuff. What about your guy, Walter Clayton? Where's he headed?
I'll tell you, the Hastings boys are in an uproar because the youngest is an Orlando Magic fan, and the twins are Heat fans.
Yeah.
And Reed watches everything that you can about it and is convinced that the Heat are going to take him. So
we just saw. Hey, JJ and I just ran through a mock where he's going to the Pelicans.
Wow, the Pelicans would kill me. You
don't
know?
want that. He's too far.
I mean,
away.
I'm going to follow him wherever he goes.
Right?
But if he went to the Heat and with just Heat culture and Spoelstra, I just think it would be great for him.
Yeah. It'll be fun to see. I hope he stays in state. I can't wait to. I hope he goes higher than everybody thought. I'll say this. Hayes and I talked about it. Todd Golden's been saying it. Someone's going to look back. I'm telling you, you're going to look back. I believe this. You're going to look back in many years and go, how did he's going to be one of those, how did he go so low guys? I really believe that.
Oh, 100%.
So we'll see. All right, we got a fun topic today. I'll say a fun topic, an interesting topic. It starts with Fernando Tatis Jr., one of the real good players, a player with the Padres. But so he signed a contract with an agency when he was 17 years old. BLA it's called. He was 17 years old. They gave him $2 million. But then after giving him $2 million, they had 10% for life. And now he's fighting it many years later. Take me through the process.
Right. They approached him. He's like a 17-year-old Dominican player, right? Signs this contract. One of the things they say in the lawsuit is that he couldn't even really speak English at the time. It is an English contract. And so they say, hey, here's $2 million in exchange. We have an entitlement to 10% of your career earnings.
Forever.
Okay, forever.
Yeah.
Right. And so he has sued in California and actually in state court, right? And there are a number of laws there that say there's a maximum rate that you can charge in a loan, okay? So the fight in this case is it a loan? Is it sort of a different type of contract? They claim that it's sort of a different sports contract. And one of the things that the BLA tries to say is that, hey, this is contingent, right? Well, yeah, we made a $2 million investment. We don't know that we're ever going to get that money back. If we invested in 10 players, how many players really ever go hit? This isn't a specific loan. California law doesn't apply. If California law did apply, it'd probably be dead on arrival, but it appears that there's enough other facts here that we don't know how it's going to work out. But here comes the scary A word again. You can't see the actual contract, the way things have been pled to this point, but there is a reference in the lawsuit to arbitration. So they're in state court. So I would imagine the first thing the BLA is going to do is move to dismiss in state court and say, hey, the parties have decided that the appropriate tribunal, if you will, to decide this is going to be an arbitration. And so this isn't litigated in California, which obviously they've chosen it and chosen this California law and are trying to say that California has jurisdiction because they believe that's going to be in their best interest.
So, Brett, let me ask you. He was 17 when he signed this deal. He was a minor. Does that factor in, or did he have an advisor or parent or guardian that was, we don't know, his dad, who's also a major league player, by the way, wasn't nearly as good, but was a major league player.
Right.
How does that factor? Would the court say, listen, he was a minor when he signed this thing? Does that factor
and it would
in?
usually be dead on arrival. BLA says that he was 18 and they can prove it. So that's going to be another issue that's going to be litigated. Right. Right.
So
imagine that, right? One party says, no, he was 18 at the time. The other says it's 17.
So what's the right answer here? Is the right answer, hey, dude, you signed a contract, too bad, too sad? Or is the right answer, he was 17 years old, he shouldn't be held to it for his whole life? What do you think?
I would imagine the issues that would go on are first and foremost what you said, right? Was he an adult at the time that he signed it? Second, what other types of fiduciaries did he have? People that go to look out for his interests, right? Was the contract sent to a lawyer? Did a lawyer review it and ask him to do it? Those are things that we don't now know at this point in time, but those would be facts to go and to support it. If you're 18 and you go and sign it, now, it does, you do say, man, this seems like an incredibly rich deal, and like, have they been predatory and kind of picking on this kid at the time? But if he goes nowhere, and the one thing that's not in dispute is they delivered the $2 million at the time. Okay, that's a lot of money. And so, there is a fair amount of precedent to say in these contingent types of cases where there's the risk that you literally get none of your money back, right? Because what we look at with loans, what does everybody want in a loan? They want security, right? A lot of times, and listeners might know this, you want to know why they want 20% down on your house? Do you know why?
Why?
That's roughly the cost that it would take to institute a foreclosure, pay the lawyers, and get everybody back. So at least that amount of equity is built into the property. So with a normal loan, I'll loan you $2 million when I know, hey, there's $2 million of collateral or security out there. So what BLA is going to argue is we don't know, right? We're a knee pop away the next weekend from him never having to pay us back a penny or a dollar, Your Honor, and we've paid $2 million and he's 18 and a lawyer reviewed it. On the other side, they'd say, man, he can't even speak English. Now he's bound by a contract that's in English, and we know what this is. This is a loan. This is a loan.
Where do you think it's going to land? I got more questions, but I'm asking you to predict. We're in the prediction business, so I'm going to ask you to predict in your business.
I think it's going to end up in arbitration, and BLA is going to have a pretty strong argument and most likely could win it.
Wow.
If it stays in California state courts, just because a lot of those, the laws, especially as they relate to lending, deceptive and unfair trade practices in the state of California are really pretty liberal, and it would be a good tribunal. So I would think the most important part of this case will be the battle as to where will the case be litigated.
But you think there's a chance that they'll get 10% of his earnings the rest of his life?
Yes.
I'll be darned.
Right.
I'll be darned. It's really interesting. I'll tell you a story. So when you're coming up in the business, and you know this because you handle all my legal affairs, but when you're coming up in the business, at some point, you talk about getting an agent, okay, in our broadcast business. And I've never had an agent. I was actually close at one point. I was doing touchdown radio stuff. I had done some national TV syndicated stuff, and I'd gotten a few calls. And you may know the story because you probably worked on it for me. But the reality is, I was close on one. I won't say who. I was close. And might have done it because I thought they would help me get, national games, get to do some national college games, get to do some basketball. But they wanted a percentage of everything I already had. I said, well, you're not going to get a percentage of my radio money. I mean, I've earned that. You had nothing to do with getting me that. You're not going to get my current touchdown radio money. I mean, I'm hiring you to do the next job, right? Not get a percentage of what I'm already making. And the deal fell apart because this agent group wouldn't take me unless they got a percentage of what I'm already making. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah.
So, you probably advised me not to do it. I'm trying to think. You were probably
absolutely.
in this.
I mean, it's
but the point is, it almost seems like agents want too much sometimes. Does that make sense?
Totally. I mean, we have it all the time. We've had people come to us and there's already an offer made in the case. I don't charge anything on what offer's been put on the case to that point. If I'm not going to bring value to the proposition, then I'm not going to do it. And so, I think I do roughly remember telling you that and saying,
I think you actually.
I don't know. I would dig my heels in on that.
Yeah, and I think we did. But the point of the story is agents, I don't know. It just seems like back to the story with this kid, and I guess he's not a kid now. And I get it. I get the law is the law, and a legal contract's a legal contract. It seems to me if somebody signs something as a teenager, they shouldn't be bound for life. I keep going back to, the Tom Hanks movie, the Elvis movie, the Elvis movie, and Tom Hanks, the Colonel and all. That story still bothers me, even though it's a true story. I mean, but he got it forever. So I don't know. I guess the law is the law. I get it, right?
And and this is one of the things that hopefully listeners, if they know somebody that's super talented, find themselves in this position, is to get people around them that could advise them and help them to understand those types of things. Because guess what? Somebody probably would have, if he was as good a prospect as I believe he was at the time, somebody probably lend you the $2 million at a pretty fair rate. And it would be it. It would be done with. On. Right. Yeah. And so that's where it's extreme, right?
Yeah. I got a question about this, sort of connected. You always hear verbal contracts are as enforceable as written ones. Is that true? That's a cliche, but is it true?
There's so much. Theoretically, yes. Realistically, no. And here's why. Because you've got to go and prove it, right? And, over the years, people will so-and-so will say this and so-and-so will remember this and that. And so sometimes facts are so incredibly important to like our clients or to you as you remember them, but other people don't really recount it, right? And so this is one of the things that if there's one thing you should always know, no action case lawsuit, anything gets better with time, right? You got to move forward and take action, because if you come to me tomorrow, you're in a horrific car wreck case and there's one that we know it needs to get in litigation, you put it in and we are lightning fast, the jury trial could be 18 months away, right? And so when we have written documents, it's a lot easier because we can see the intents of the parties. We have probably other email exchanges. We have whole bunches of other stuff to put that into context, and we can look at the black letter of the contract. When we get into trying to prove the things verbally, right, as time goes on, a good case 30 days in can be a horrible case 180, 360 days, people move, other people don't recount it, that type of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, final thought about the whole advisor thing. You know, these young guys, and well, now everybody can have agents. Back in the past, baseball players couldn't have agents to still play in college, but they could have advisors.
Right.
So the agents would call themselves advisors. They really were agents, but they'd call themselves advisors, and then the player would get drafted, and he would have to decide, is he going to go to college, or is he going to go to the draft? And his advisor would guide him. Right. I wonder if that advisor guiding that 17-year-old baseball player, I wonder if it's the same deal like Tatis. I mean, I wonder if they have an end to it, or if it's a lifetime contract. I wonder how most of those work.
Most of them, my understanding is you could terminate them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, but money's up to a certain point they'd be entitled to, or what have you, but it couldn't just be, forever and perpetuity, because obviously you'd be able to go, get, and one thing that's different from BLA, okay, there are state regulations, right? Then there are other regulations from the larger sports organizations that govern agents. And so those things can override what can, even be contracted for in the contract. But the one thing I'll tell you about the oral contracts versus written, the one thing that's changed, and I was talking with a good friend of mine, he's a commercial litigator where these issues come up a lot, are text messages. Because everything used to be verbal, right? Then we had emails, but now where we had 4 or 5 emails, now we got 35 or 40 text messages. Right. And so he says that's the big deal. And a lot of times what people won't know is we'll subpoena, and we can get from the cell phone company that a text happened at a certain time between people, but you got to physically get them off the phones. And so now the phones, there are experts that download the phones and do what you need to do to be able to preserve it, because that's what comes out on the contract. He said this, we relied on that. We went ahead and started spending money and designing logos and signed a lease, and then the deal died. And so, everybody says we were relying on, what they had texted us or said. So that actually, as I understood it, makes the cases a little bit easier to prove. But suffice it to say, get a written contract, get everybody to sign it. No contract is bulletproof, but the way to put yourself in the best position is to have a written contract and to understand your contract. People will come to you all the time, back when I was doing tons of that, how do you terminate? I don't know.
Right.
When do you have to terminate? I don't know. Is there a venue selection clause? Is there an arbitration clause? I don't think so. And then I'd go and show them. And because everybody worries about 2 things, right? Price and term. How much are they paying, or how long? And then the other pages, it's sign it and let's get it done. But those things in the back, the difference between New York, California, and Florida law can radically change a case. So you need to know, what is the forum that they're choosing, what law, and, is it arbitration? Is there a waiver of a jury trial? Those types of things are really, really important.
Really interesting stuff. If you sign a contract, know what you're signing. Great work as always. Brett Hastings from the Hastings Injury Law Firm. We come back, we'll get into our tour, continue our tour around the AFC South. Taylor Zarsler, the brand new play-by-play voice of the Titans, joins us after this.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
1010XL presents Family Feud, starring Dan Hicken.
You don't want none of me. Think it through.
And Jeff Prosser.
Come on, give me your best shot. I'll give you a free one. Let me have it.
The Drill, mornings on 1010XL.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Frangie. If you have a sweet tooth like me, the sweetest desserts in town come from Spoonful Bakery. Spoonful is an online bakery. They deliver boxes of assorted desserts right to your home or office. They're so good, and they make for great gifts for friends or clients. And if you want custom orders, wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or catered desserts for an event, they are the best. Log on to spoonful-bakery.com or call them at 904-515-4984. That's Spoonful Bakery for the sweetest desserts in town.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. So how do you decide? With so many messages on air, I know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. When you've been injured in an accident, you need help from someone you know, someone you can trust. Harrell & Harrell, a name you know, a name you trust. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Offices, Jacksonville.
Hey, Hickett here for my friends at Zero Res. Gang, vacuuming is not sufficient to maintain the cleanliness and lifespan of your carpet, period. Do not, let me repeat, do not leave deep cleaning to yourself, but do it yourself dirt attracting carpet soaking machines. No. Call on the cleaning freaks from Zero Res. Big summer savings. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129. Take 20% off air duct cleaning as well. Call them, 904-287-5727, and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spelled forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
If you need a game plan for the weekend, I'll tell you my takes for some of the weekend's best options. 1010XL's Dan Hicken here. Watch for Musings with the Media Mogul on YouTube and Facebook. Turned on by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
Want your son or daughter to enjoy sports year-round? Then log on to i9sports.com with summer and fall registration open right now, including girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows, plus plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 for a discount.
Hicken here with my concierge doctor, Richard Townsend. Doc T, how does a concierge direct primary care operate?
We are a membership-based primary care made directly between a patient and physician. We'll have a limited amount of patients that allows us to give unlimited access and personal service to you. This individualized approach has been shown to lower hospitalizations as well as maintain healthier lives. We also give 24/7 access via phone to me outside of our scheduled office hours.
To learn more, go to mypvconcierge.com.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. Clayton, Underwoods has sold fine quality diamonds for a long time. Why is that important?
Frank, if you drew a line with the poorest diamonds with the lowest prices to the left and the highest quality to the right, our diamonds are at the far right end. Now, once we know the weight, the grading factors of cut, color, and clarity have to be considered. And the one that's talked about the least, but it's the most important to us, is the diamond's cut grade, because it has a huge implication on both the price and the beauty, and thus the value. I've bought diamonds for Underwoods for over 30 years, so I know what's out there, and the cut grade's just not important to most diamond sellers. That's really been the Underwood difference, because beautifully cut diamonds result in the most important thing they can do. They bring a joy of owning and wearing a diamond, not just today, but tomorrow and into the future. That's why it's important to us.
And it should be to you too, because nothing brings more joy than a diamond from Underwoods in San Marco, Avondale, and the shops of Ponte Vedra since 1928.
You tired of high energy bills? Replace those inefficient windows and patio doors now. Don't miss Renewal by Anderson's 30th anniversary sale. Buy one window or patio door and get one 30% off. Financing options are available and this offer expires June 30th. Renewal by Anderson, proud partner of the Florida Gators. Visit bestwindowsflorida.com to schedule your free consultation.
License number CGC 1527613.
Spring has sprung, and so have the bugs. It's Hayes Carline, and my friends at Kingfish Pest Control offer an exclusive $99 spring special. That's right, your initial pest control service is just $99. And if you call today, they'll include a free one-time mosquito treatment. Kingfish Pest Control is family-owned, 5-star rated with no binding contracts, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call them now to book your service. Only at Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
All right, we do welcome you back to the program. Frank Frangie with you here, and now one of my pals in the business who has just joined our specific business, Taylor Zarzour, the new play-by-play voice of the Tennessee Titans. Taylor, how are you, man?
Frank, my friend, I'm doing great. I'm sure you're going to file a restraining order against me at some point after following in your footsteps at Touchdown Radio, and now I'm entering the AFC South with you as well. So I'm basically just following you around, my friend.
It's been a great journey for all of us, and of course you do way more than that. We'll get to some of that in a minute. But catch me up a little bit. Taylor and I are buddies, so we talk off air. But for our listeners, talk about the journey, how you wound up with the Titans. Obviously, you're very busy with golf on Sirius, the SEC Network football. How much of that will you still be doing? Tell people a little bit about all that before we get to the Titans here.
I spend a lot of time in Jacksonville/Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida. That's for sure. Yeah. Doing PGA Tour golf broadcasts for ESPN and the World Feed as well. In fact, I'll be back down there in a couple of weeks, and I'll keep doing a lot of that work and the work I do for SiriusXM with a talk show that I do there. In fact, Frank, I have talked to Mark. I have talked to Mike. I have talked to Frank. I've talked to the entire AFC South this week. So right. I'm wondering if I should have all of you guys on my golf show this week, or maybe I need a show like you guys do as we've gone around the AFC South. But I'm still going to do some of the golf work. I'm not going to do as much of it, but I'm still going to do some of that. And I'm still going to do SEC Network football. You know, we have a few friends, you and I, like Wes Durham and Dave Pash and Bob Wischusen, that do the double, if you will, and do TV on Saturday and then hightail it out of there to get to their game. And I'll do that with the Titans. But to answer your question, this was a shocker. Mike Keith, who is a great friend of yours and mine, is the longtime legendary voice of the Tennessee Titans, the only voice ever of the Titans. Mm-hmm. And he decided this offseason, when Bob Kessling retired as the voice of the Tennessee Volunteers, that's what Mike wanted to do. That's his alma mater, and he wanted that to be his last job for many years to come. And I'm thrilled for him, but I was surprised that this happened. And when it did, I had some friends in Nashville that strongly encouraged me to reach out and pursue it, and I did, and here we are. I didn't have this on my bingo card for 2025, but it is the most excited I've ever been about anything professionally, and I cannot wait. I love Nashville. There's, as you know, only 32 of these in our little fraternity, and
right.
I cannot wait to get going.
Well, you can do a great job, and you're right. We have a fun little fraternity. I tell people we have a little text chain. 32 of us on the text chain. You're on the text chain now, and so
that's right.
and we give each other a hard time, but it is a fun little fraternity, and we're excited about it. We're really glad you're in it. I mean that very sincerely. Let's talk about the Titans a little bit. What are your expectations from 10,000 feet? We'll get into specifics in a minute. But what are your expectations, and what are the expectations? There's some newness there, obviously. Cam Ward's new, and Brian Callahan's sort of new. What are your expectations? What are the expectations in Nashville?
Yeah, great question. So first of all, you're right. There's a lot of new things with the Titans. Brian Callahan is the second-year head coach. Mike Borgonzi was the assistant general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs, and he was there to help build what is, most would say the strongest franchise in the NFL right now, with those 3 championships they've won in recent years and playing for 5 of them. He comes over from being the assistant general manager in Kansas City, and now he has just become the general manager of the Titans. So he's new, and you referenced Cam Ward at quarterback. I think that I'll start here, Frank. I think that Cam Ward can quickly become successful the way that Trevor Lawrence quickly became successful in Jacksonville, the way C.J. Stroud quickly became successful in Houston. And I think that immediately Tennessee Titans fans will say, we have found our quarterback. He has immediately become the leader of the team just through rookie camp and mini camp and OTAs. Everybody's looking around like, wow, it's crazy how quickly this guy has taken this team over. And, you know, you covered him in college, too, with all the different for as much college discussion as you guys have.
Yep.
You saw what he did to the Florida Gators at the beginning of last season. I mean, he barely knew anybody's name on the Miami Hurricanes roster, and he immediately was the leader of that team. So it's not surprising that he's done this, but he is unequivocally the leader. And I think because of him, the team will be significantly improved. Now, does that mean they're going to go from 3 wins to the playoffs? I'm not predicting that, but I wouldn't be shocked by that. But I think at minimum, this will be a team that wins many more games than they won last year and is a competitive force in the AFC South. Mike Borgonzi, the general manager, is building this thing brick by brick. And I think that what everyone inside the Titans organization wants is a franchise that is competing at the top of the NFL in 2 to 3 years. By the time that new stadium opens up in Nashville in 2027, they want a program, they want a team, an organization that is at the top of the NFL. And they're not going to skip any step. They still need better pass rush on defense like you saw last season. They have improved their offensive line, but there's more work to do there. They have improved the complementary pieces around Cam Ward, but there's still more work to do there. And they're not going to skip any step. And they realize this will take a year or two to build it completely.
Yeah, you answered my next question, Taylor. That's interesting. Look, the Titans have been a good franchise. Under Mike Vrabel, they were a tough franchise. They were tough guys.
Right.
And I wonder, will there be patience? When you draft a rookie quarterback first overall, it's going to take time. Rookie quarterbacks first overall don't go to the Super Bowl, and everybody knows that. Will it be a patient fan base? And I know everyone's excited about the new stadium. I can remember Mike was on the air with me and had to run off and leave to do the groundbreaking. I still remember that. He told me, he said, listen, I got 4 minutes. I got to get out of here. I got a groundbreaking coming up. So I know how excited people are about the stadium there. But will they be patient in Nashville, Taylor? Is that your expectation?
Frank, if they're a better team this year, I mean, let's just look. I'm not going to put a win total on it, but if this is a team that is significantly improved in 2025, then absolutely fans aren't going to be frustrated because they understand. Look, we've got a brand new quarterback, and if the guy is showing us that he absolutely is our quarterback, and we have more that we need to get around him, and it results in several, if not a lot more wins than it resulted in last year, then I think fans will be patient about that. I don't think they enjoyed anything about the last few years, but I do think that they understand where the franchise currently is. And then next year, if you're competitive to get to the playoffs and or you make the playoffs, then I think that fans will be patient. But, yeah, I think that to answer your question, they want to see growth. And I think that by the time we get to 2027 and that stadium is open and your Jaguars are playing the Titans in that new facility in 2027, I think that's when candidly, that's when the owner, that's when the president, that's when the general manager, that's when everybody in the franchise wants to see the results. It's not just the fans. So I think this is a multi-year rebuild, but as you know, when you let a qualified general manager pick all of the players and not skip any steps, you very quickly can go from the first pick in the NFL draft to a team that's in the playoffs.
And one other thought about that too is, and I think we all agree, like you, for people that don't know, this is the week we all talk to each other. We do this every year, so we talk to each other on everybody else's shows. But to your point, I think we all agree it's a winnable division. The Texans are probably the team to beat, but Mark would tell you, and probably has, that they've got to repair some stuff from last year. C.J. Stroud wasn't as good last year as he was as a rookie. The Colts have questions. We're excited down here about a lot of the pieces, but we haven't proven it year in and year out very often. So it's kind of a winnable division. I got to believe even when you're not expected to necessarily be great that year, you got to be encouraged by that, right?
Yeah, I think you just nailed it. I mean, talking to Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts, the other day, I mean, you're right. There's a ton of questions in Indianapolis about who their quarterback is, if Richardson's healthy or if they go to somebody else. And that's a fascinating thing to follow. Stroud has proven himself in Houston, but as you have seen, as everybody has seen, once you get a few years into this league and everybody has tape on you, things change. They do have a great defense, though, there in Houston. And with all the buzz around the Jaguars with Travis Hunter already getting the contract, if you give Trevor Lawrence clean health in 17 football games this year, then certainly the Jaguars could be a playoff contender and win the division. So we've talked about the Titans already and where they fit in this, but I'm with you. As you look around the NFL, I think you could look at other divisions and at least you always have surprises, but right now I think that you could say, okay, I have a strong feeling on who's going to win the AFC West and the AFC East, and I have an idea of who the better teams are in the AFC North. That's just in the AFC. In the AFC South, anybody listening to us right now could pick 1 through 4 and put them in any order going into this season, because there are a lot of question marks that need to be answered really in the next 2 months before the season starts. Yeah,
it's going to be very interesting to see. I don't think anybody debates that at all. Taylor Zarzour with us, the voice of the Tennessee Titans. All right, I got to ask you this while I have you here. I got to ask you a golf thing or two. You've been doing golf forever. Hey, where is Scheffler the best player since Tiger? Is Scheffler the greatest golfer since Tiger? Yeah,
no doubt.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and I would say this. I think he's the most consistent performer since Tiger. The most talented? No. I think Rory McIlroy, maybe Dustin Johnson would be the answer to that. But from play, if you're asking like who's played the greatest golf and whose A game is the best, then I might pick Rory over Scotty. But if you're asking me who is the most consistent performer since Tiger Woods, there's no question it's Scotty Scheffler. This guy's ability to repeat his swing time and time again and keep himself in play time and time again. I know a lot of us probably find him boring because he never makes any mistakes, but yeah, it's remarkable to see how he is able to execute the shot he wants to hit almost every single time. I was a bit surprised that he didn't really have a chance to win the U.S. Open a couple of weeks ago. He did play. He was there to a degree in the fight last week in Hartford. But he gives it, even when he doesn't have his best stuff, Frank, he still finishes in the top 10 in the tournament.
Right.
That's what's remarkable about this guy is he just doesn't have a bad week. He always gives himself a chance. And, it's no question he's the best player in the game right now. And it's kind of been fascinating to see what makes him tick the last couple of years getting to know him. He is an extremely level-headed guy, and he is probably the oldest-looking 29-year-old guy I've ever seen.
No question. He is definitely that. And you're right, by the way. A bad week for him is T7, isn't it? He's that guy. He's very consistent. All right, Taylor Zarzour, the new voice of the Titans, a buddy of mine who's done the broadcast business for a long time. So, do you play with McIlroy tomorrow? Is he any good? Can McIlroy play?
Is he any good? Play. Yeah, we have our golf games are going in different directions. I look like somebody that used to know how to play golf, and Greg is getting better and better at it. So I think we're gonna lean on him for distance, and we're gonna lean on me for putting.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I can't wait to be with him. As you know, we did a college football show together for years and got to be very close. And it'll be fun to chop it up with him for a couple of days and get off the grid before you know it, man. July 23rd, at least for the Titans, is the first day of training camp. So it is right around the corner, my friend.
Yeah, we're right around the corner too. So your golf game's a mess. What are you down to, a 4? Is that what it is? Are you up to a 4?
I am a 4 right now. Yeah. I was a 0 or a 1 for many years, and now we're going in the wrong direction. Father Time is undefeated.
Well, I was going to tell everybody when you said your golf game's lousy, that means he's up to a 4, folks. So I certainly get that. But hey, Taylor, welcome to our little fraternity. We talk off the air, but on the air, welcome to our fraternity. It's great to have you with us, and we'll catch up soon. Taylor, I appreciate it, buddy.
Frank, you mean the world to me, man. I admire you greatly, and I love the connection you've made to your community, and that's my goal, is to make one similar in Nashville. I'd do anything for you, my friend, and look forward to catching up soon.
We appreciate it, Taylor. Kind words. We appreciate it very much. Taylor, I appreciate it. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Thanks, Frank.
Taylor Zarzour, the terrific play-by-play voice of the Tennessee Titans, and really one of the all-time good guys in the business. You probably know he calls SEC football on the SEC network on a Saturday weekly basis. He does golf on Sirius, and he and I both kind of got our starts on Touchdown Radio, as did Roxy Bernstein. Our friend Gino Toretta kind of got us all going there, so we're greatly appreciative of that. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll keep it in the division. Mark Vandermeer joins us. He's the play-by-play voice of the Houston Texans. That's next, so stay with us.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Saluting right over left. Arms locked at the elbows. 1010XL, home of the Gators.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Oh, no.
You okay in there?
Toilet's backed up. It won't flush.
Okay, I'll call the pros.
The tank isn't filling. The handle does nothing. Run for your life.
Don't be so dramatic. Duck Rooter will fix it.
For any plumbing issue, call Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Are you struggling with hair loss? At IHRS, we understand because we've been there too. We're dedicated to finding the best solution tailored just for you.
My hair looks great. It was thinning, and IHRS restored my hair. It's now fuller, it's thicker, voluminous. It's made me feel great.
With the latest technology and FDA-approved laser therapy, PRP, and non-surgical hair addition, we offer guaranteed solutions for men and women.
With over 35 years of experience, IHRS found a hair restoration for us, and we can find one for you.
For me.
For me.
And me too.
Visit hairforme.com or call 904-777-IHRS. Get a free microscopic analysis and get to the root of your problem. This $395 analysis is yours for free. Call 904-777-4477 now.
Cannonball! Honey, someone's in our pool.
Oh, refreshing.
John, what are you doing?
Oh, hey, Dave. Seeing as how me and the guys at Clearwater Irrigation reinstalled your sprinklers after the pool contractor ripped it out, I thought you wouldn't mind if I took a quick dip.
But in a Jaguar print Speedo?
Yeah, Dave. My bad.
Clearwater Irrigation. We can't sing a lick, but we sure are good at sprinklers.
And drainage, too.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Mac with Baker Glass. If you've got fogged up windows, let me help. We'll replace them with clear, insulated units that brighten up your home. People say we're fast, friendly, and reliable. Just check out our Google reviews. Call me today. Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers floral or plant arrangement. This is JJ with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at KuhnFlowers.com.
Hacker here, and it's been a crazy couple of weeks. Went on a cruise, went out to Las Vegas. There's been a lot going on, and the good folks of Awaken 180 understand that life goes on, man. It's all about losing weight. It's all about getting healthier, but the coaching I get with Awaken 180, my coach Kate, we make game plans for these trips. We talk about things to do, things to try to avoid, but she also understands that it's vacation, right? It's about life. It's about having a fun time. So right when we get back from these trips, I get right back on the program. Been doing it for over a year now, down over 100 pounds in the maintenance program. Awaken 180 is absolutely life-changing, but they understand life, which makes them a lot different from a lot of other weight loss programs. If it's time for you to drop some weight like it was for me, go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800 and get involved with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
June is Men's Health Month. Be proactive towards your prostate, ED, low T, even kidney stones with Ackerman Urology. Offices in Mandarin, Middleburg, the Beaches, and World Golf Village. Trust the men's health experts at AckermanUrology.com.
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by the Greater Jacksonville Kingfish Tournament. Tonight's NBA Draft first round will begin live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. The Orlando Magic recently traded their 16th overall pick for their new shooting guard, Desmond Bane, but still have possession of their 25th overall selection from the Aaron Gordon trade a few years back. Keep an eye out on the Magic to pick an offensive threat tonight, specifically a perimeter shooting threat. Florida Gators star point guard Walter Clayton Jr. could be selected as early as tonight, as he's been mocked to teams such as the Heat, Pelicans, Pacers, and more, and been comped to players such as Jalen Brunson. The Jumbo Shrimp had their second game of their series against the Nashville Sounds earlier today. After the Shrimp took Game 1 last night, the Sound even the series today, taking Game 2 with a 7-6 victory. It's 91 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
10XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Back to a Coyle & Sons Wednesday. Since 1927, they've been around the block and probably fenced it too.
We do appreciate our friends from Coyle & Sons, the best fence company in all of Jacksonville. You can call them at 904-356-4821 or go to CoyleJax.com. Man, they've done it a long time, whether it's overhead doors or bathroom partitions, not just commercial fencing now, but commercial or residential fencing. I can tell you they are the best in the business. You want someone you can trust? Trust my friends from Coyle & Sons Fence Company since 1927. All right. Frank Frangie with you. We're tracking down my friend Mark Vandermeer. JJ, let me know when Mark is in the vicinity, and we will talk a little Houston Texans football with you. We're kind of going through the entire division now. We've gone AFC South with Matt Taylor. We have gone AFC South with Taylor Zarzer. In just a minute, I'll say hello to my buddy, Mark Vandermeer. Fire it up, JJ.
Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Mark Vandermeer, the play-by-play voice of the Houston Texans, and one of my buddies in the business joins us now. Mark, how are you, brother?
Frank, I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day in Houston. Can't wait for camp.
Is it hot? Is it hot in Houston right now?
No, it's like really cool. It's like in the 80s somewhere because it just rained, so that's really nice. But give it a minute, and it'll get back up to 90-something. We'll be back to normal.
I know it will. I know it will. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Houston Texans. Big picture. Texans, the team to beat in the AFC South, it would appear. They've been the best team the last couple years. C.J. Stroud, not quite as good last year as he was 2 years ago. From 10,000 feet, strengths and weaknesses. I'll get to some specifics right now or in a bit, but big picture on your team. How do you feel about that group?
I think the big story is what happens with the offense, because last year the expectations were sky high coming off 2023. You knew the defense was good. How good could they be? Well, let's see. But the offense should be great. They should be able to pick up any slack on the other side of the ball because Stephon Diggs joined the team. Tank Dell's coming back. Nico Collins, the receivers are going to be great. You signed Joe Mixon. My goodness, C.J. Stroud in year two. It's got to be better, right? Well, it wasn't as good as 2023 in many ways, and I think pass protection, a lot of other issues plagued them. So the big story here is, how is Nick Caley, the new offensive coordinator, going to make a big difference here? And also trading Laramie Tunsil, how do they improve line play when you remove one of the best left tackles in the business? But I think everybody in the know was down with that one because they knew that they had to change the group collectively, and the best way to do it was to just shake things up and try to get a new culture in that room. So, yeah, that's probably more detailed than you wanted there, but that's a huge story here. I mean, if they can get the offense cranked up to a level in 2023 where it was with the passing game, get the running game going along with it, with this defense, which I think is Super Bowl ready, Frank. I'm not saying they're the 85 Bears or 2000 Ravens. I think this is a really good defense, though. With this defense, they could really make some great things happen this year and see what happens in the postseason, because we all know it's a one-and-done situation once you get there.
I think it is a very good defense. I think you're right about that. But let's stay on the offense for a second. How has Stroud adapted to all this? Slowick's gone. Like you said, there's a new culture. There's a new plan offensively. You've been around them. You're around these guys. There was OTAs and mini camps. How has C.J. Stroud responded to the newness, in your opinion?
I think he's responded very well. I think he's going to like the autonomy he gets at the line, the ability to adjust things at the line of scrimmage. He didn't have much of that last year. And, you know, when you have situations happen at the line where you got to get out of a certain play or get into another one or change the protection, he can do some things. But in this offense with Nick Caley, he's going to have a lot of instructions at the line of scrimmage. Now, how he handles that remains to be seen, but he's a super smart guy. I think he really enjoys this part of the game. He's a student of the game. So they'll have a chance to really adapt as they go throughout the course of a game, make adjustments sort of on the fly, for lack of a better way of putting it. And I think he'll respond to that very well. You know, he didn't throw in OTAs. He was handing off. He was doing some of the team install work, and then he started throwing in minicamp. And my gosh, it was just such a treat to see him operate this thing and really take it to a new level. So I can't wait to see what happens once they get into camp and beyond.
Let's talk about that defense you talked about, Mark. Obviously, at least in my mind, it starts with those two great rush ends, Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter. But there's more to it than that. Strengths and weaknesses of the defense as you see it.
Well, up front is a tremendous strength on this team, because when you talk about a pass rush with two double-digit sack guys, yes, but then you have Derek Barnett, who scored 2 touchdowns last year. I mean, that doesn't happen much when your third guy is doing that sort of thing. And they brought back Sheldon Rankins as a tackle, Foley Fatukasi back, you know, numerous others, Mario Edwards. Some of these guys have been around the block, and you know them, Frank, but collectively, they did such a good job up front. They wreak havoc with a 4-man rush, and that's what you want to do in this league. So, you know, it's not just the guys on the edges. It's the guys in the middle. And they're not going to, you know, get Aaron Donald-type publicity, but I think the rotation they have works really well, and they love working for D'Amico Ryans. Yeah. For some reason, people thrive under him on the defensive side of the football, and I think the reasons are plentiful. We could list them all. And I think the rest of it is good, too. I mean, when you look at linebacker, they brought in E.J. Speed, and I don't even know if they had to. They have Henry To'oto'o, who led the team in tackles. They have Azeez Al-Shire. You know, they have Christian Harris, who had a pick six in a playoff game a couple of years ago. You know, they have a lot to work with there. And in the secondary, Derek Stingley Jr. is an all-pro, and you got Kamari Lassiter on the other side, who I think is an emerging Pro Bowler. They've got a lot to work with all throughout that defense. The question is depth. You know, can they sustain multiple injuries? I think any team would have problems. But if they stay relatively healthy, this should be one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Let me go back to D'Amico for a second. D'Amico, he's now 40. He's still a young guy, but he's done it a few years now. And you're right, man. He's a respected guy. People respect D'Amico Ryans. People, the opponents do, team does. How has he grown as a coach? I know you know him well. How would you say he's grown into that job?
You know, I think situations happen. You know, you can have an aptitude for the job, but once you're doing the job, things come up. It's like anybody who's been the boss of anything. You know, you can have a great ability to do it, and then once you're doing it, oh, I've never been in this situation before. I've never been in that situation before, whether it's an in-game thing or an off-the-field thing or whatever it is. So he's lived through a couple of years of this now, so he's only going to get better. Because he's the same guy. He's the same guy he was as a player. And I love talking to former players about him because they all knew it. They all knew he could be a great coach. And, Frank, I think you and I have talked about this before. There are a lot of guys who could be great coaches. The question is, are they willing to put the time and work in, the effort you need to be great? He puts that time in, yet he is the first one to tell you He wants the guys to have lives. He wants them to be better men, better fathers, better husbands, better whatever, better at whatever it is you do outside of football. He wants them to be that good as people. That's why you'll notice their training camp schedule. It was released today. Sundays are off. Sundays are off if possible, because he wants people to have that family day, that church day, that whatever day to recharge and be a real person. He thinks it makes them better on the field. It's a true family atmosphere here. And I'll say one more thing. I've never seen this many guys around in the offseason.
Really?
In the dead period between the season and off-season conditioning program, this place was loaded. And right now, it's dead, right? It's the desert. I see guys all over the place. They were slamming the medicine balls against the wall today. They had 30 guys in there. I've never seen that kind of turnout before in a so-called dead period. So everybody's buying in, and it's a large portion of that is because of the head coach, of course.
Yeah, I believe it. I truly do. Let's look around the division a little bit, Mark. You know the division as well as anybody. What are your expectations from the other three teams, including ours?
Well, I think, I get nightmares about all these teams. You know that. Yeah. I mean, I was talking to Taylor Zarzer, and I think you said you talked to him already, and I thought, oh, Cam Ward, let's not have this be like C.J. Stroud in 2023. Huh? I can't deal with that, Frank. And then the Jags, I was surprised it went the way it went last year because I expected a true bounce-back year for them.
Me too.
And didn't get it. And when I say bounce-back, they had a winning campaign in 2023. Everybody forgets that. Right. And I know it didn't end well, but it was still one of those seasons where you had more wins than losses, which is one of the big goals in this business. But here they are with the new regime, and I'm afraid Trevor Lawrence is going to wake up at some point. It's going to be a disaster for the rest of the AFC South. But I do believe it's a bit of an uphill climb when you have a new head coach. D'Amico did it, obviously. It doesn't happen very often, but I think the Jags have a lot of the tools there to win 8-9 games, maybe more, but to really climb back into that situation where, down the stretch you're flirting with a division championship. And I feel that way about the Colts, but their big if is, does Daniel Jones, and I expect him to start, more often than not, does Daniel Jones fight off the turnover bug enough? Because they have Jonathan Taylor, one of the best in the league. They got a lot to work with there, and I think he can make a lot of the right throws and keep them in real manageable situations. We'll see how it goes. I mean, do they have the pass rush to do it? I think that's a big question for Indy. It's a really competitive division, and it would not shock me if we're sitting here and Jacksonville's making a run for it at the end. I mean, it shouldn't, because you have Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. You do have good running backs there. You have the receivers. I mean, you have Thomas. I don't have to list them for you, and everyone's eager to see what Travis Hunter's going to do. So it should be a really exciting year.
Can anybody catch the Chiefs in the AFC? Or I guess the Bills and the Ravens are the ones that people talk about the most. Can anybody catch Mahomes and Andy Reid in that group?
All right, so you want to do something scary? Go look at Baltimore's offensive statistics, and then look at their defense, and you wonder, wait a minute, how did this team not win the Super Bowl?
Right.
You look at Lamar Jackson. How do you throw for 4,000 yards and 40-plus touchdowns, and your running back has almost 2,000 yards, and you go out like that? It's mind-boggling. I think that team is incredibly dangerous, and so are the Bills. I think this is the year that somebody unseats the Chiefs as the top seed in the AFC. Now, I know Baltimore did it a couple of years ago, but the Chiefs just answered the bell and won on the road in the postseason. I do believe somebody else is going to break through this year. Not that the Chiefs are going to be bad, but I don't think this is the Chiefs' year to get back to the Super Bowl, and I think that'll be to the delight of every NFL fan outside of Kansas City.
We are 1 month away from training camp and a little over 2 months away from playing. It won't be long now. Mark, enjoy the rest of your summer, brother. We appreciate you spending some time. We'll catch up soon. Take care, buddy.
Thanks so much, Frank. Appreciate you having me on.
All right. Mark Vandermeer, the outstanding play-by-play voice of the Houston Texans. Boy, he does a terrific job. We appreciate him spending some time with us. We'll take a break. When we come back, JJ's got our headlines. Stay with us.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Hayes Carline for Atlantic Infinity. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showroom. It's cool, comfortable, and hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
From the 904 to the 324.
Duval.
Duval's number one for sports talk.
1010 XL.
Beards Diamonds is where Jacksonville shops for engagement rings and fine diamond jewelry. Hicken here, Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center stands out in a big way. They're local. The owners are a part of our community. Say hi to the Lupos. For more than 40 years, by the way. Money spent at Beards doesn't go to Wall Street. It stays right here. The best part, you don't compromise on anything. Beards has the best selection of diamonds in Northeast Florida, hands down. Beards doesn't have to jack up prices to meet a corporate bottom line. Beards doesn't have commission salespeople. They have trusted advisors. Beards has all the top names in bridal jewelry like Tacori, Veragio, and dozens more. Beards guarantees to give you a better price, a better value, period. Listen, a lot of those chain jewelry stores are all owned by the same mega conglomerate. They have different names, but they are all the same owner. Beards? No. Your locally owned alternative, beholden to the people of Jacksonville, not Wall Street. Don't buy a diamond ring or any piece of jewelry without talking to my friends at Beards. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center. Shop local, shop Beards.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me, if you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Serving in the military requires great sacrifices, not just for one's country, but also for one's family. Not surprisingly, divorce for soldiers is especially difficult, and it raises a number of challenges that are peculiar to military divorce, things such as deployments, relocation, retirement benefits. These issues can be complicated. So if you're a soldier facing such challenges, go to CordellCordell.com.
Jacksonville, Florida. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois. CordellCordell.com.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars. Make them your AC partner. With honest cost estimates before they start the work with no hidden fees. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
He's not Pistol Pete, he's Pete Prisco.
Been on the wanted list almost 20 years.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Hey, Jacksonville, Hicken here. I've been around the block or two, and Checkmate Coatings is who I'd call for my own place. They're my new MVP for stunning, long-lasting floors.
Brendan here with Checkmate Coatings. No massive overhead means top prices on top-quality pool decks, driveways, garages, and patios, too.
Visit CheckmateCoatings.com today. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
What is the most populated city in the world? The answer next.
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
With a population of an astounding 37.7 million people, Tokyo, Japan is the most populated city in the world.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
I9 Sports is geared up for fun for kids all over the First Coast with summer and fall registration now open. Kids ages 3 to 17 can get in the gym or on the field with I9 Sports, covering Clay, Duval, St. John's, and I9 has all-girls flag football at Oakleaf, UNF, Fletcher, and Creekside. Plenty of other spots and sports on the First Coast to take advantage of. Don't miss out. Registration now open for summer and fall at I9 Sports. Enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just a job, but an experience, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com. Jacksonville.com, an equal opportunity employer.
I'm Drew Scrimshire, president and publisher of the Jacksonville Business Journal. In business, timing is everything. That's why every morning at 8:15, our morning edition delivers the most important business news straight to the inboxes of Jacksonville's decision makers, executives, entrepreneurs, investors, and industry leaders. Want to know what the First Coast power players are reading before they start their day? Join them. Subscribe today to the Jacksonville Business Journal Morning Edition at bizjournals.com/Jacksonville.
Attention North Florida, it's time to elevate your game night. Head to Best Bet, your premier destination for poker. With locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine, we have a seat ready for you. Whether you're a seasoned poker player or just starting out, we have you covered with easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker. And it's not just poker. With delicious food, lively bars, and big screen events, there's something for everyone. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com. And ante up for fun.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Gather round. It's Hayes' Headlines, presented by Harrell & Harrell. Don't settle for less than you deserve. Hear all about it. Here's Hayes Carline.
All right, it is JJ's Headlines once again. And let's start with the Jags once again. Yeah. So the Jags have signed rookie running back, Bashal Tuten from Virginia Tech. Where do you expect to see him fitting into the backfield this season?
I think he's going to be a factor. I said that the minute they got him, and then watching him at that camp or mini camp, JJ, he's a big, thick guy, bro. He is
very low to the ground
and fast. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be a factor. Of all the rookies, other than Hunter, he might be the guy that other than Travis Hunter. I'm not counting him. He doesn't count. But other than Travis Hunter, because you know what he's going to do. You have an idea. I think Tuten might be the most impactful rookie they took, even though they took a number of them higher than him. I think I don't know if I'm going to say he's going to be their running back necessarily, because I think Travis Etienne's a good player. I think Tank Bigsby's a good player. But it's a good room, man. And I would not be surprised if at some point, maybe not this year, Bashal Tuten's the starting running back and a very impactful one for the Jaguars. I think he's going to be a good player here, man.
I love hearing that, especially you don't foresee Etienne being here after this year. So yeah, he definitely will make a bigger contribution next year, if anything. Huge story in the NFL. By Pro Football Talk also had some to do with it. And Pablo, I forget his name. Pablo Torre. He was also reporting on it. But Goodell in the NFL allegedly encouraged all 32 teams to reduce contract guarantees for veteran players at the March 2022 owners meetings. I mean, this story got legs now. They got text messages from owners back and forth to each other. One in particular I saw today was the Arizona Cardinals owner after he signed the deal for Kyler Murray, and the other owner was saying, hey, congratulations on it not being fully guaranteed. The Browns really screwed us, so we're doing a good job of keeping all these guys, non-fully guaranteed. And it's a bad look for not only the NFL, but the NFL Players Association. So we'll see what comes of this. Well, apparently some players might have some, ground to sue.
Well, I'll say this. In all the labor conversations in professional sports, JJ, all the labor conversations that go on between management and labor, okay, players and owners, the one deadly word is collusion. That's the word. The word that the players unions all gravitate toward, and the one they hope they can always prove against owners is collusion. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen here, if it's going to be proven here, but if they can prove collusion, or at least have a chance to, that is a dagger for owners and a win for the Players Association. So that, keep an eye out or an ear out for that word, and if that happens here, we'll see.
Yeah, especially if some certain quarterbacks, because that's really what we're talking about here is the quarterback guaranteed money.
That's right.
Because they even say, they mentioned the Browns.
Right.
So if we're talking about quarterbacks that have recently signed long-term deals, there's one in Jacksonville. There's another one, obviously, out there in California. So I don't know if Justin Herbert or Trevor would ever, do something like that, but they'd certainly be candidates for it.
Yeah, no question.
All right, so we talked a bit about this yesterday. Aaron Rodgers back in the news. He said, I was in contact with Mike Tomlin basically the whole time. We spoke every week, and he said this will be his last year probably.
Yeah, he certainly said probably his last year. Back to the speaking every week, you could tell by Tomlin's comments, by Art Rooney's comments, Rooney III, that you could tell by management, even Omar Khan, the GM, you could tell they were confident he was playing for the Steelers. You know that? I mean, they signed Mason Rudolph, for God's sake. You knew they'd ever believe they were playing Mason Rudolph. And so the fact that they weren't more aggressive, whether that's drafting a quarterback because they drafted one lower, whether you have to believe they were confident they were getting Aaron Rodgers all along. So
yeah, it was probably like a hush-hush deal. Like, we're not going to sign you before these voluntary OTAs because you're not going to show up. And then if you're signed and you don't show up, then that's a huge media story. So we might as well just wait for this to be over.
I think you just hit it. I think he doesn't want to come to voluntary OTAs. He doesn't want to be looked at as a
bad teammate.
Correct. A player under contract that doesn't come to the OTAs, making him a bad teammate. So let's all agree we'll do it in June. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah. And so in the NBA, we sort of touched on this yesterday, but another trade's happened since then with the Boston Celtics. So Drew Holiday traded. They clear all this cap space. We're thinking, who's next? Is it going to be Jaylen Brown? It was actually Kristaps got traded last night to the Atlanta Hawks. And I'm pretty dang intrigued to see Kristaps Porzingis and Trae Young in like a pick and roll game. Like, I know he doesn't stay healthy a lot, but that intrigues me in the Eastern Conference.
The Hawks for the first time have two guys. You're right about that. I'll still go back, and you kind of almost predicted the Porzingis thing. But let me say this. And I told you this yesterday, and again, I always preface this by I don't pretend to watch the league closely, but it's still amazing the Celtics aren't that far removed from the World Championship and a pretty damn good regular season afterwards, and all of a sudden, just like that, the best player goes down with an Achilles and the team's blown up. I mean, it's just amazing. It's not like they won that thing 5 years ago.
I don't think it's just that. I think that they're using that to take advantage of, hey, well, we can just get rid of a lot of money. I saw that they were going to pay like $500 million with all the salary, with the tax. And, there is things that screw you if you go past this second apron. Like, you'll lose draft picks. You'll lose mid-player exceptions, trade exceptions. Like, they do their best to be like, we're not a hard cap league, but if you go over this, we're going to really hurt you. And so I think they're like, hey, if we're not going to be competing for the NBA title next year, let's try to cut some fat.
No, I get, but it stays. It's not like you can go bring those guys back. So let me ask you this. I mean,
Kristaps could come back. Yeah, he's a free agent after this season.
But okay,
but you never see that.
Yeah, for the sake of the conversation, I mean, they had a really good year. Okay, they just obviously they got upset by the Knicks, but riddle me this: had he not gotten hurt and they not get upset and they beat the Knicks, okay, and for the sake of the conversation,
they get to the finals.
If they what if they won it again? What if they had won it again, or took the Thunder to 7 games, and nobody got hurt? Would they have still blown it up?
I think one of those out of the two that got traded, Drew Holiday and Porzingis, one of them would have been gone no matter
what. Still would have been,
yeah.
even if they won the thing.
Yeah, just because, first of all, Drew Holiday looked terrible in the playoffs.
I agree.
So obviously we don't know what he would have done if they got through that series, but he did not look like himself, and he's older now. And Kristaps was also injured in the playoffs. So I don't know. It would have been hard to tell, but I think at least one of those two guys would have been gone.
It's just I'm telling you, JJ, it just amazes me.
It is crazy.
They're 13 months from a title, and the team got blown up.
Yeah. I really hope they don't get rid of Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
I hope that Tatum has something to come back to. And quickly on the Hawks, Jalen Johnson, a great young player, Reese Shago, young player there. So they're a team to watch in the very beat up East. All right, the Braves, speaking of the East, the National League East, they beat their rivals, the Mets, for the 5th straight time last night. They're 5-0 this year. The Mets have dropped to 1-10 in their last 11 games. They are absolutely reeling right now.
Yeah, and obviously it's a pitching thing, but my goodness, this team is 1-10 in their last 11 games, and they're still 12 games over.
Yeah, they're still not far out of first place.
Which means look how good they were. To go from that good to this bad suddenly is astounding. I mean, it really you don't see a team that is 22 games over 500
go on a stretch like this.
Lose 10 of 11.
No.
That never happens.
No.
That's what's so bizarre about this. It just doesn't. It doesn't happen to this extent very often.
And they had a 3-0 lead in last night and blew it. Tonight they should get a win. They're playing the Braves the next 2 games again, but they're facing rookie Didier Fuentes tonight, who. He's not ready for the majors. He's a great prospect, but I would be shocked if the Mets lose tonight. Over the other side of I guess it's not the other side of New York, but the Yankees played last night against this new guy. We talked about him yesterday, Chase Burns, who was the 2nd overall pick. He plays for the Reds. He struck out the first 5 batters of the game against the New York freaking Yankees. What a debut.
Yeah, and he's going to be really good. Again, one of the biggest questions in college.
When's he going to get Tommy John?
Yeah, right. Well, that's for sure. But one of the big questions in college, because this was before all the big dollars were in the portal, at least they weren't as public. Why did he leave Tennessee and go to Wake Forest? You know, I mean, he was
both big programs, but still,
and both programs that are. I mean, Tennessee was on the cusp of a championship. They hadn't won it yet, but they were on the cusp of a championship. Won it afterwards. So, but yeah, he was throwing 100 as a sophomore in college, bro.
These
so
guys, these
good.
kids. 2 more today. Skeens versus Mizorowski was today, this afternoon at 2:00. I've never seen a Milwaukee Brewers versus Pirates game in the afternoon sold out, and it was awesome crowd. And they only pitched Mizorowski only pitched for 5 innings. He had a pitch limit, and Skeens wasn't too bad, but he threw too many pitches. He gave up 4 runs in 1 inning, which is probably like the most for him all season.
Yeah,
but he really didn't get hit around that hard. Just threw too many pitches, too many balls.
I didn't watch any of it. I told you this. I was running around doing all kind of stuff today, so I didn't watch any of it. And you actually kind of had to update me. But I've since read a bunch about it, all these Pirates websites and whatnot. It is roundly considered the worst start of his career.
And he wasn't that bad.
And he wasn't right. but he gave up 4 runs in 1 inning. He gave up 4 runs, got pulled after the 4th, and it is round. Think of it. That's how good he is. He leads the majors in ERA going in at 1.85. It's roundly considered the worst start of his career.
He couldn't find the strike zone, and to me that was just his number one problem. But this kid Mizorowski, another one to watch out for. So far, he's faced 47 batters in his career in the majors. He's allowed 1 hit.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now I will tell you, like I said, all the surgeons are sharpening their knives.
Exactly. This is another one.
It's just a matter when the Tommy John happens.
He was throwing 102 today. Yeah. He throws a changeup that's 91 miles an hour. His slider's like 93, 94.
That's amazing.
These kids. He is 6'7", so some of that's natural, like just being a tall guy. All right, let's go to college basketball. The NCAA is looking to expand the tournament once again this upcoming season. This time, 76 teams.
Yeah, why would you do that? I mean, what do you gain by going from 68 to 76? For the longest time, they talked about 68 to 96.
Wow.
To really change it. Why?
I guess more playing games. Is that what they're going to do? More of the true TV, like Tuesday night games?
And the reason it keeps going up is that is the NCAA's one real cash cow. And every team gets a bunch of money because of it. So why not find a way? Because people keep going and the television ratings keep going up. So why not keep going up and paying schools more money? I get it. The reason they're not adding because the tournament needs more balance.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
adding more games,
right?
More content.
More content means more money, and the schools, JJ, need money more than they've ever needed it.
Yeah, especially when they're about to have to start paying these guys.
Correct. So that's I mean, here's the deal. Samford gets paid every year. Okay, Western Kentucky gets paid every year. JU and UNF get paid every year. So all schools benefit from that NCAA tournament. Why not make it bigger and pay them more money?
And like you said, it's a cash cow. I saw a graphic today that was the top 10 highest rated basketball games in the country this year.
Yeah.
And like 6 of them, I think, were tournament games.
Yeah, no doubt.
Including the Gators national title game actually beat Game 7 by I think 1 million viewers. It had more than the Game 7 in the NBA Finals.
And doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Speaking of the NBA, the T-Wolves sold for $1.5 billion, which seems like a lot, but then you remember the Lakers sold a couple days ago for $10 billion.
How about that?
But is there something to all these NBA teams? This is like the third or fourth one, I feel like, in the last year that are being sold. Is there something to that? Are these guys thinking this is a good time to get out?
Yeah, you never know. You never know how that is.
Or is it just,
if enough teams sell, you have to wonder why they're. That's your question. Why is there a pattern? And I hear you. I just think the money has gotten so extreme. I do think this. I think owning a team is harder than it's ever been.
Okay.
Players get paid more than they've ever gotten paid. There's more parity, so it's harder to win than ever. And the payout's there. So sometimes, you know what? Give me 1.5 billion,
Absolutely.
and let me go hang out on the sailboat. Isn't such a bad idea.
No, it's not.
Right.
My conspiracy is that they look at the future and the ratings, and they're like, "Hey, maybe it might go down. We might as well get out while we can." I don't know if that's true or if it's just a coincidence that all these teams are selling.
Remember this, and I always tell people this when a team gets sold. It's rare that a young billionaire owns a team. Okay, there's not a lot of 32-year-old team owners. Okay,
No.
Team owners are 62. Well, if they've had the team for 15 years, then they're 77. So the reason teams get sold usually is because owners are older guys that are done doing it.
Exactly.
So that doesn't surprise me.
In college, the Pac-12, yes, it's still around, folks. It's going to look a little different, though, this year. They're looking to add another school in Texas State. That was announced right now. Their members are, I don't even want to ask you because I know you could probably name about two.
Yeah.
But Oregon State, Washington State.
That's the two.
Yep, exactly. The two hangers on.
Right.
But then they've added Boise State, which I like, San Diego State, Colorado State, Utah State, and Fresno State. I'll say this, at least it makes sense in a geographical context.
Yeah.
We've had we have the Atlantic Coast Conference with Stanford and Cal. Like, at least they do have Pac-12 teams. And I used to love watching Pac-12 football late at night, so I'm glad it still exists.
Yeah, me too. And in fairness to the Pac-12, what were they supposed to do? It's not like
fold, I guess.
Yeah, correct, which you can't do. So I understand they have no choice. I'm not faulting what's left of them for trying to survive, but the story you just read might be the saddest story I've ever heard in college athletics. Texas State.
Exactly.
Not Texas, not Texas A&M, not Texas Tech, not Baylor, not SMU.
Not even Rice.
No, not Rice, not Houston. Texas State.
Not SMU.
Texas State to the Pac-12. That might be one of the saddest things I've ever heard anyone say.
I do think in basketball they're adding Gonzaga, so at least there's that.
Yeah.
That's a good add.
No question.
All right, last one. The NBA NBA draft starts tonight at 8 p.m. We all know Cooper Flagg will go number 1. But where will your boy Walter Clayton Jr. end up?
That's the question. I'm going to talk about it when we come back from the break a little bit. That's the big question is where will he wind up? How much will he impact the league? And how much will Gator fans pay attention? We'll talk about it. Let's take a break afterwards. We'll certainly take attention.
All right. So our sound of the day is going to be from one of my favorite bands. And I've always said this would be my walkout song if I was in another life, like a boxer or something. Bad Company by Bad Company. Excuse me. Because unfortunately, the founding member and guitarist Mick Ralphs died yesterday at the age of 81. But he will be remembered through his music forever. Absolutely amazing band.
Great band, no question. And I can see you. This is your walk-up song. I can see that.
It takes a little bit to get into it, but when it hits, it hits.
Well done, JJ. We appreciate it. Good job on headlines. We'll be back. Wrap the program after this.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
The Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA championship Sunday night. They beat the Indiana Pacers 103-91 in Game 7. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was the Finals MVP, finished Sunday night with 29 points. And the Thunder are the early favorites to win the NBA championship in 2026. The Thunder are plus 220, while the Cleveland Cavaliers, who had the best record in the Eastern Conference last year, are plus 800. The Houston Rockets, who recently acquired Kevin Durant in a trade with the Phoenix Suns, are plus 800. The New York Knicks plus 850 to win next year's championship. The Boston Celtics plus 1,300, and the Los Angeles Lakers are plus 1,400. Earn cash back on your gaming transactions with the G-Bank Signature Visa Card at vsin.com/GBank. I'm Tony Desiri with your Visa in Action update on 1010 XL.
AC Hotline, how can I help?
Help! Our AC isn't working, and my husband's pouring ice cubes down his pants.
Wow. Okay, well, we can help with the AC issue.
Please. I'm afraid he's going to damage something.
Okay, I'm going to connect you with the Duck.
The Doc?
No, the Duck. Duck Air Conditioning. Jacksonville area's AC experts.
Okay, tell them to hurry.
Beat the Florida heat with Duck Air Conditioning. Service, repairs, new installations, commercial or residential. Trust the Duck. DuckDuckAC.com.
It's always truck season at Nimnick Chevrolet. Well, this month, you can save up to 20% off a new Silverado or get financing as low as 2.9%. Now, unlike most dealerships, Nimnick Chevrolet has the largest inventory on the ground, and it's ready for you to explore. With their extensive selection, you're sure to find the perfect truck at Nimnick. Available now, the all-new Silverado EV with payments starting in the mid-200s. Designed to go the distance, the Silverado EV boasts 440 miles of range, more standard range than any competitor. And remember, Nimnick will always give you the top dollar for your trade, and for a limited time, up to an additional $3,000 in trade assistance. That's right, $3,000. So head to Nimnick today. You can shop online 24/7 at nimnickchevy.com or view the dealership right there at Park Street and Cassett Avenue. So who's got more new Silverados at the best prices? Nobody but Nimnick.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now's a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Campione Law.
Big Chief Tire is always looking for ways to better serve the Jacksonville community we call home. Frank Frangie here. Starting Monday, June 16th, they're opening their 6th shop location in Mandarin, providing more Jacksonville residents with a locally owned auto repair business they can trust. Visit the new shop on San Jose Boulevard today for all your vehicle needs, including brake repair, new tires, and more. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule an appointment today.
When it comes to my opinion, I love dropping the hammer. I'm Hayes Carlyon. Listen for Hammer Time with Hayes weekdays on The Frangie Show.
Hammer Time with Hayes, driven by Kia on Atlantic. Check us out at KiaOnAtlantic.com.
Attention North Florida, it's time to elevate your game night. Head to Best Bet, your premier destination for poker. With locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine, we have a seat ready for you. Whether you're a seasoned poker player or just starting out, we have you covered with easy-to-learn games like Ultimate Texas Hold'em or 3-card poker. And it's not just poker. With delicious food, lively bars, and big screen events, there's something for everyone. Visit BestBetJacks.com to learn more. That's BestBetJacks.com. And ante up for fun.
We're certainly facing interesting economic times. For me, it's comforting to know my money's in good hands with ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. Experience? Yeah, that's Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reed Wingate. They have the expertise and knowledge to take care of your money. For more info, go to ITPPartners.com. ITP Partners, they're my financial partners for life.
Non-compensated client testimonial may not be representative of all client experiences. No guarantee of future performance or success.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Summer means fun in all forms. Longer days and more chances to soak up the sun and the fun. Budweiser and Bud Light reminding you to drink wiser. Hydrate between beers and don't sweat it. It's the best way to get home safely.
Out here, you get your hands dirty. You get to work and finish the long summer day knowing you made it count. Whether it's cutting the grass, picking the garden, frying up the grill, or washing your dog, you get things done. It's the small stuff that adds up to this life you love. At Tractor Supply, we know that feeling, and we've got the supplies and friendly advice you need to get the most out of every day, all summer long. Tractor Supply, for life out here.
Firehouse Subs has fries. Your hometown hero since '94 just cranked up the heat. Hot subs, crispy fries, golden, pillowy on the inside, and perfectly seasoned. Over 30 Jacksonville locations. Firehouse Subs, homegrown and now with fries.
Since 1901, generations of skilled union workers have built the backbone of our community. Hospitals, schools, the buildings where you work. Every year, a new apprentice class of Local 234, plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians is stepping up, trained, driven, and ready to do great things. They're not just building our city, they're building their future. Local 234, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit UA234.com to become a member or contractor today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down from the cool guys at Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Fast, reliable, and honest service since '87.
All right, where have we been on the show today? We kind of took a tour around the AFC South. Taylor Zarzer, the latest play-by-play voice in the league, longtime buddy of mine, and I'm glad to have him in the division and glad to have him in the league. And he joined us to talk about the Tennessee Titans. He'll call the Titans games this year. Mark Vandermeer is the play-by-play voice of the Texans. He joined us as well today on the program. And, of course, Matt Taylor was with us yesterday, the play-by-play voice, of course, of the Indianapolis Colts. So it's great to have all those guys on. Terrific Sports in Courts today from Brett Hastings talking about really an interesting situation, and that is an agency signed Fernando Tatis Jr. to a contract when he was 17, and it's a lifetime contract, and he's trying to get out of it now. So really interesting stuff in the world of sports from our friend Brett Hastings, and that's where we've been over the course of the show today. All right, the draft is tonight. I'll tell you what's interesting about that, JJ. I'll bet you there, and I'm one of them, there are Gator basketball fans who there wasn't a chance in hell they would watch the NBA draft and certainly wouldn't watch it past 8 or 9 picks that will be locked in tonight when we get into the 15s or the 20s. You know, locked in.
I have bad news for you guys. It's probably going to be really freaking late.
Right.
Like, if it starts at 8, yeah. I know it's probably a little bit faster pace-wise than the NFL draft.
Right.
But probably not too much faster. So I'm expecting Walter Clayton to be drafted around like 10:30, 11 tonight.
Yeah, but I will tell you again,
the sooner the better.
We're not
for multiple reasons.
We're not Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina. We don't get this all the time.
Right.
You know, we're holding the trophy. We got 3 of them, but we don't have 30 of them. You know, so
tomorrow's the second round, and Elijah Martin could be drafted in that one as well.
That's right. But and you hear Hayes and I talk about this a lot. And there's a lot of reasons. Number one, they were really good. They won the title. Number two, they were all good guys. You know, there wasn't a lot of trash talking. They weren't getting in fights. There were never going to be problems off the court with these guys. And Florida as a Gator, we haven't been so good in football and basketball for a while, you know?
No.
Yeah, it's been.
And Walter Clayton in general, he was just such a hero of heroes
he was
for the team. It's not like he was just like your best player.
Right.
He was literally the guy with the ball when you guys were down in the second half of every freaking tournament game, and he was the one who basically dragged you guys to the finals. It was insane.
He single-handedly won a national championship more than anybody since Kemba Walker did the same thing for you.
I agree.
Yeah,
like the Kemba, the Mellows type.
Yeah,
teams.
and so tonight tonight will kind of be the last straw unless he becomes a really good pro around here. Yeah, even Bradley Beal, who's a good pro, nobody follows him anymore. Yeah, it's not like Gator fans say, I got to get home tonight because I got to watch Bradley Beal.
But the Suns guy, I got to get the NBA package to watch my Wizards and Suns game.
It's not like that, So this will probably be one of the last hurrahs for Gator Nation watching Walter Clayton. So and now if he goes to the Magic or the Heat and the games are on Sun Sports or whatever, Bally Sports or whatever, maybe.
Unfortunately, if he goes to the Heat, you still got to get the package, which sucks. Because they they split it up. Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can watch both the Marlins and the Rays here, but you can only watch the Magic here.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
well, that's
sucks.
dumb. That's dumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I did not know that. So
yeah, it's been like that for a long time.
So watching the Heat's no easier than watching the
Cavaliers,
the Cavs.
Yeah.
Well, that's dumb.
And the Heat don't get too many national televised games, but.
Yeah,
I couldn't think of like a better landing spot as a rookie though than that organization. Yeah. Maybe if you want to go play with like LeBron or with Steph or something like that, but it's just talking about organizations and how everything's ran and from top to bottom, like the Heat are pretty high up there in the NBA, if not the first.
Yeah, I want to go back for a second.
It sucks, doesn't it?
I don't care. It doesn't really suck that much. I wouldn't watch. But I just figured since I can watch the Rays and the Marlins, I would obviously be able to watch the Magic and the Heat. I had no idea it was different.
Yeah, I don't know why that is a thing, but it is.
I'll be damned. Okay, how about that?
Even when they used to have like, I don't know if they still do, haven't had cable in a while, but they had like Fox Sports Florida and then Sun Sports, and like they would switch, like the Rays would play on one, the Marlin on the other. No, we just don't get Heat games.
Yeah, I can tell you.
It's like, I think, around Orlando area and below.
I can tell you, speaking of those networks, I'll tell you a quick story. I was on Sun Sports hosting a show called College Kickoff, right? That I hosted. It was before the game started.
Bubba Burger College Kickoff.
That's right. So you remember, okay?
Oh, yeah. I used to watch it all the time.
So I was on Sun Sports.
You and the whole crew.
So then, at one point, I left to go to Sports Channel. They were the competition. You sometimes you leave to go to the competition, right?
It happens.
So I was on with Norvell and Ackerman, and I left to go, and I did a show with Gino Torretta, Brad Culpepper, Leroy Butler. So I said, it was a better deal. So I left Sun Sports to go to Sports Channel, which was a big deal back then because they were the arch rival, right? Sun Sports bought them a year later. I was out. True story. And it had no interest.
I was about to say, I've never heard of the other one.
Yeah. Well, I went to Sports. Well, Sports Channel became Fox Florida.
Oh, I see.
Sports Channel became Fox Florida. So then there was still Sun Sports in Fox Florida, and Sun Sports bought them. I said, yeah. And by the way, had no interest in bringing me back. Okay.
Oh no, I was just about to ask.
There's no chance they're bringing, because they were pissed all out. There's no chance they're bringing my ass back. Okay. They went out of their way to tell me they weren't bringing me back.
You gambled.
So, yeah. One year later. 1 year later, they bought them. That's my luck. Just so you know, that's my luck. That's what I'm dealing with. All right, let's say hello to my buddy Rick Ballou.
Now, the 2-minute drill. Serviced by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Rick Ballou is here. How you doing, Rick?
I'm great.
You know what I was saying? You know,
beautiful day in Jacksonville.
I haven't brought this up to you because we had so much other stuff to talk about, but how are you on the whole Rafael Devers thing?
You know what?
Were you mad about all of it?
When I was back home, that was one of many things that happened.
Yeah.
He was traded. Yeah. Karen Reed decision came in.
Right, that's right.
Trump dropped some bombs on Iran. And it was also the 50th year to the day of Jaws. So in Cape Cod, was Jaws everywhere.
Yeah,
it was pretty insane. He was a baby.
Yeah.
He's overweight. He's overfed. Now, listen, Craig Breslow screwed this up. I remember when they signed Bregman, I was like, what are they going to do with Devers? They should have approached Devers and said, listen, we're trying to better this baseball team. We want you to slide across the diamond and play first base. Right. They thought this kid Cassis was going to be able to do it, and he got injured. He was hitting about 200
and Devers
before the injury.
Age and got pissed.
Right. And so then they asked him, will you take some ground balls? And they fought in John Henry, the owner, and they sat him down. He said, no. He said, I'm not going to do it. And it was crystal clear that he wanted out of Boston. He was off to a record pace as far as strikeouts. If you go back to like his first dozen games, he struck out, I think, like 35 times or so. And then he got on a tear. But I think it's another example of where Boston is right now. They are a small market baseball team.
Yeah.
They've won 4 World Series, and no one thought they would do it. They're collecting checks right now as opposed to trying to make that baseball team better. They've given away Chris Sale.
I know.
Mookie Betts.
That's the one.
Okay.
That's the one.
But even Sale, even though Sale may only give you 5 1/3,
I know.
when healthy, he's still one of the better arms in the game. Won the Cy Young last year.
But Mookie Betts might be the best player. I mean, how do you do that? So, okay, I said whatever.
They didn't try to go after Bogarts,
right?
So they, it's pretty bleak right now in Boston. The Celtics are having apparently a fire sale with the NBA draft coming up tonight, and the Patriots are a long ways away. And
Marshawn's gone.
Marchand is gone. He may come back.
Okay, yeah,
they may bring him back.
There you go. That'd make it better. What's coming up? What are we doing tonight?
We got a lot coming up tonight. I got a couple of things up my sleeve that I want to throw out there and get the listeners involved. So I think we're headed towards, or I don't think so, but something that is on the cusp of being historic. And I think at one point in our lives, we thought that it would never be reachable. And now I think it's 5 or 6 years down the road.
You're tell us what
That's
that
my
is.
tease.
I love it.
That's my tease.
I'll be listening. Rick Ballou goes into the night. That comes up right now. That'll do it for our program. Hacker returns tomorrow to join me. Hayes is on vacation this week. Hacker will be back in studio with JJ and me tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. We're out here for the absent Hayes for Hacker.